All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. Today I'm talking to my friend Randy, who's also known as Harmonica Man. You've probably seen him in the chats before, and he finally said, yeah, all right, I'll come on the show. So before we get into the whole show thing, just let me grab my list of things to talk about. Some announcements in case you haven't heard them before. First of all, thanks to all my patrons. It's because of you guys that the show just keeps on improving. And if you'd like to help out the show, you can. There are links below for Patreon and also PayPal. And there are also a bunch of links for Randy here down below, so you can follow him on YouTube and Twitter. And I think, what else did I put down there? Oh, anyways, there's a bunch of them down there. And
I got a few.
Yeah, and your own website too. I got the link to that one down there as well.
Cool.
And just so you guys know, my schedule will be changing in December. I'm swapping from Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays to Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And I decided to go just straight across the board at 5 p.m. start time for all the shows. So it'll be a little bit easier and you don't have to remember the different stuff. And also, the reason I'm doing that is because I am now one of the hosts of the new relaunch, sort of the nonprofits for ACA. So I'll be hosting that show with people like Johnny Angel, who I'd had on here, Puck, and many other people that'll be involved in that show. And I start recording actually this Wednesday. So you can expect to see that one coming up on one of them Sundays in between the Talk Heathen and Atheist Experience shows on the Sundays. And if you do like the new nonprofit show, you can also check out their Patreon as well, which they have. And I also have that link below, I believe. I think I probably should. And don't forget to sub to the new True North Talk channel, which is coming up, where Randolph and I will be talking to people about beliefs and all kinds of things. But as we jokingly say, nothing political. But everything ends up being political anyway. So, with all that stuff aside, by the way, guys, there's a link to the True North Talk down below in the description as well. With all that stuff aside, Randy, what I do here is I talk to people about their journeys away from whatever belief systems they were once a part of. It's kind of the dominoes falling and how you found your way out of it. And I think we'll also talk a little bit about how you got into becoming a Harmonica Man. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But anyways, why don't you kind of take us back to the beginning, or the earliest time you remember where you were a believer or whatever, and how you found your way out.
Okay. I was raised in Christianity. We went to a Pentecostal church, with the whole speaking in tongues and the raise your hands up in the air and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was part of, instead of like the Cub Scouts or something, they had their own thing called the Royal Rangers. And seeing how my entire family, my dad is the youngest of 14. And all of his older brothers, and he's got one sister, and every one of them, even her, was military. So they pretty much raised me military. And so, I made sergeant in the Christian little club thing, showed everybody how to go camping and stuff, and just doing survivalist sort of things. But it was just, the household was an abusive household. Everybody's nice and fine out in public and everything, but
right.
You know how it is. As soon as you get home behind closed doors or whatever, you get your ass beat for no reason. And this is the way it was. It didn't seem to matter. Just gonna be wrong just simply for existing, and I can't. Okay, this. And I tell my dad sometimes, hey, this is what I learned in school. Oh, no, that's not it. And I'd even show him the paper or whatever. Look, this is in the textbooks. This is how this scientific thing works. And then he'd just say, nope, I'm the dad. I'm going to be right. And then he'd start swinging. And, oh yeah. And,
what kind of things were you saying to him? This is actually what I've learned in school. And what did he disagree with?
Oh, just simple mechanics and engineering. I mean, it was just, one time it was, advanced timing for combustion engines. I'd say, look, this is how vacuum advance works. The fuel doesn't burn faster. It burns slower than the cylinder. So that's why you get top dead center. You get vacuum advance. So the spark can go before the piston gets to top dead center. So because it takes longer for the fuel to burn than the piston to travel. He's like, no, you're talking about breaking shit. And it's like, no, You got a Cadillac sitting right out there with vacuum advance. You know, that's how it works. And,
right.
but we get into a fight all the time. He'd always had a bug up his ass about me. I don't know what it was, but I can remember
just
when I
you in
was.
particular?
No, I had have still an older sister and a younger sister, and apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but the way he talked and the way other people, he almost admitted it, but he raped my older sister
Oh,
at one
whoa.
point in time, and he said it was her fault because she had tempted him just like Lot's daughters. And
Yep, using the
you know,
Bible as an excuse to be a douche. Wow. Oh,
yeah, exactly. And there's no skating. I grew up with a. Oh, is that better?
yeah, you're
I
okay.
grew up
You're
with
okay.
complex,
Yeah, no kidding.
and yeah, I was pretty much bullied an awful lot in school. So I learned how to be tough, um, like that. And it was like, we were also the poor family in town too. So everybody's gonna mess with you.
Mm.
All the preppy kids and stuff like that had their own corner they were going to play at, and me and a couple of the other losers in town had ours. But yeah, my mother was trying to raise me as a preacher, and I'd hold Sunday school service and stuff like that in a big old lilac bush in the backyard, and all the neighborhood kids would come over and listen to me bullshit them from the Bible. I and it was fun for me, because I was large and in charge and all that, and I thought I knew something, and all the other kids are coming out and they're just playing along, and they told me, nope, it's just fun. We're just playing, just like playing house or whatever. This is, we don't believe you got something that we haven't heard either. We go to the same church and all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just, I was being groomed to be a preacher man. And years later, I decided to become an entrepreneur and all that stuff. So, and I just love science and mechanics, and I was studying all that. But yeah, the level of mental abuse was just horrible. And my mother, she what I don't know, she was kind of a very weak-minded woman.
Mm.
And one time, I think I was about 9 years old, she tried to commit suicide and then put a whole bunch of pills in our dinner, and she was trying to kill us kids too. And I caught her. We were all going to go to heaven before everything got too sinful.
Wow.
And one of those kind of moms that would drive you off a cliff and into the ocean just to save you.
Man.
So yeah, they were uber, religious, and let it go too far in their head, and they made a lot of bad decisions. They still loved us and everything, though, is the thing, and we got an awful lot of relatives, and and I still got a lot of family around where I live now. That's why I'm living here now. It's because of my health. I got somebody to come get me if I need to go to the hospital or something.
Sure.
But yeah, my parents, they divorced. They started off when I was about 13 years old, and by the time I was 14, they divorced, and neither one of them can take care of me. My mother took my sisters. My older sister was old enough to get a job, and they told me, "Well, you're the boy, so go get a job and take care of yourself. You're a young man now. You can go do that." So they pretty much, I was abandoned for a while, and I slept in the woods for about 10 years and learning all the camping stuff again and survival stuff. Had books out there, candles, lanterns, anything that I could just to survive. And I spent a lot of time just being sick constantly. And then years later, I caught back up with them and the rest of my family, and and I'd go back and forth, couch to couch, and just working these jobs in the canning factories, packing cherries in cans, and lemons, and just any kind of fruit that they had. Put them in the pie filling cans, and I did that for about 12 to 16 hours a day.
Wow.
All summer long, and I had at least 40 hours a week all winter long too. And I had to lie about my age to do that, to get these jobs. And I was always fighting and stuff too, because the migrant workers were jealous that I was their foreman, because I just worked my ass off. You know, I did the work of 3 men. And they'd come in there and they'd try to stop me from working, and they'd go and tell the boss about it and everything. They're just mad because some kid was bossing them around. And the boss is like, hey, he put the time in. He's actually working. He's, you know, he deserves this position. You just got here last week. You don't. You know, what are you talking about? So I was always fighting and always alone. Been stabbed a couple times because of this crap. You know, and then I got friends later on, but not until well, my parents, they both died a few years ago, right on the same day, same time in the morning, 4th at 7:30 a.m., 1 year apart. It was just weird. But
wow.
Yeah, when I turned 18, I was going to get married to this girl. Her father was a missionary in Mexico, and you know, they were, you know, pure blood Mexicans, and boy, I just fell in love with her. Prettiest girl I ever seen. And but I was working so hard trying to save up, you know, for us to have a life together and everything. And her families, you know, were encouraging us and all this other stuff. And they were gonna, you know, set me right up. Here, you know, you kids go have a nice life. But seeing as how I was working so much, she decided, okay, you know, you're not paying enough attention to me, you know, being young and stupid and all. You know, I mean, we were kids. And she's like, I'm going to go out with Howell, and we're going to get in the car and we're going to go out on a date. And I told her, well, you know what? If that's as easy as it takes just to get rid of me, then maybe you should just go fuck off and die. And about an hour later, she did. They got drunk and hit a telephone pole, and she flew out the windshield and got decapitated.
Oh my goodness.
So there goes that fiance. And then I started drinking pretty heavily after that, and whiskey too, like half gallon a day kind of drinking.
Oh shit.
So there was all that. And about that time, I had some lower spine problems with cysts and things, and I had an operation, and I wound up having 3 operations, and they cut me to the bone, and then I lost the use of my legs for about 3 years. I had to teach myself how to walk.
Wow.
But I went back and stayed at my dad's house for a little while, and he didn't have any water or anything, so I couldn't wash up and change my bandages or anything. And then he just basically left for a couple of days without telling me. So I whittled a stick into a crutch and kind of hobbled on into town about 5 miles, and then called my sister, and then she called my uncle, and they took care of me for a while, for those few years, while, you know, I was going back and forth to the doctor, and we didn't have therapy or nothing back then.
Right.
For some odd reason, and you know, insurance wouldn't pay for it. So I was on my own. I had to teach myself how to walk. But I've always been determined to do things like that, you know, just to overcome a lot of adversity.
That's admirable.
In my life. And so, and now this is going to be, well, this will be the 3rd time in my life I'm losing my walking. I got one of these though. My VA doctor saw me walking down the street. He's like, you still having nerve damage and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, why? And he's like, well, I saw you. Me and the wife was doing a country drive, and we saw you hobbling alongside the road, son of a bitch. I'm ordering you a cane. And I said, you know what, Doc, you need to mind your own damn business. You are my business, soldier. You're getting a damn cane. I'll get your ass in here first thing in the morning. I'm like, oh, yeah, all right. You know, so I got myself a free cane. Yay.
Nice.
But I need one of those hurricanes, though. That way I can, you know, catch those women just like on the commercial.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that was so far as the deconversion. I started noticing things when I was a kid, because there were just so much adverse BS going on in my life. And you know, us kids was smarter than we were given credit for.
Yeah, I agree.
But we'd go to church the one time, and the pastor preached
Oh, you froze up.
Whatever you want to call him. Okay, are we back?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah.
Yeah, a truck just went by the library, so of course it knocked out the town's segment.
Oh, I see. That's what happens. Okay.
Yep. So basically, I went to church one time. I was about 11 years old, and this preacher is talking to the whole church, talking about how they need to get down and repent and everything. And everybody's crying and on their knees and praying and just getting their feelings worked right up about this stuff. And then he started talking in tongues. And this guy grabs the mic and he says, "There's a young boy out there," and he's pointing right at me, "that needs to repent for his sins," and whatever low voice thing that he did. And he just basically pointed me out, and he was talking for about 5 minutes. And I'm just cocking my head looking at him like, really? And everybody started looking at me and giving me sneers and stuff. And it's like, okay, I just did this last night. I didn't do anything. I should be sin free. I should be good to go. But everybody's trying to call me out on it anyway. So I'm trying to be a good boy so I wouldn't get a whooping with the buckle end. But that's what I got when I got home later, because I got up and walked out of there, and I walked 2 miles home, and then I started just, watching whatever on TV, like Wild Kingdom and stuff like that. Old Marlin was on at that time back in the 70s. But
Wild Kingdom. That takes me back.
Yep.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, my parents got home, and they were just steaming, and the girls, they sent the girls to the rooms and, don't watch this. And my dad pointed at me and said, "Don't you ever do that to us again." And I said, "What are you talking about? I didn't do anything to you. You embarrassed us and you questioned." Dag nabbit. Excuse me while I shut this off. It's hooked to my car too, so I was jamming a little bit earlier before I got on here. I turned this on and turn it on YouTube and get my backing tracks, and I just play harmonica to them and stuff while I was setting up here. So it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
But
that's cool.
But anyways, where was I? Yeah, so they
embarrassing the family.
Yeah, I was embarrassing the family. So they got me good with the belt, the buckle end of it, and I still got scars and shit.
Ouch.
Yeah, it wasn't too long after that, because preteen, coming into my arrogant little age and starting to question things, and hey, I'm going to stand up, to the man or whatever.
Doesn't deserve a beating though.
Yeah, I know, but that wasn't it. I mean, I've been held down with little groups and everything because I was just I was kind of hyperactive, and I run everywhere, and I was always outside playing, and I'm still that way, except for the running part. But I get in my exercise by running off at the mouth and jumping to conclusions, so we're still good.
There you go.
But yeah, they just decided to have one of those exorcisms one time when a lot of the church people come over.
Really?
Oh yeah. They and it was old school stuff too. I got markings on parts of my body with cigarette burns everywhere.
Oh fuck me! Wow.
And stuff like that. So this stuff is, and you can tell, okay, this isn't real. Even though I still believed, but I always thought, okay, now it's just the people who are stupid. And just like the old saying, I believe in God, but I don't believe in his followers and, stuff. It was like that.
Okay.
I still thought there was something out there that, that actually give a shit and was going to care about me someday.
So more like a deistic type position, maybe? Or?
Yeah, kind of. And actually, yeah, I didn't really, it was the Christianity thing, though. It was, it was full on love Jesus kind of thing.
Okay. Okay, sure.
But it just I never really practiced it that much after that but in my teen years and after, I was too busy trying to be alive.
Okay, so, makes sense. Yeah.
So later on, in my early 20s and stuff, I I started to realize a little bit more about questioning my own beliefs, because I was seeking the truth. And I thought, okay, now I read a little bit of Socrates, and philosophies about examining yourself and just asking a bunch of questions instead of just making a claim that you're right and just whatever you're thinking is automatically right. And how do you know that? Because everybody wants to be right. So I wanted to find out the truth. That I was very confused.
Give him a sec, folks.
Very drunk.
No, you're back. You're good.
Okay, we're doing it again? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, a lot of stuff happened to where it wasn't, the most pleasant life. So I was studying all the time. I took up reading. I learned how to speed read. I'd read a book in the morning, 500 pages or something, maybe, I don't know, maybe 50,000 words before breakfast.
Wow. You're gonna teach me how to do that.
Yeah, it's kind of easy, actually, but it takes an awful lot of practice.
Says you.
At one time I was tested, and I could, this is before I started working on the superconductor super collider in Houston. I could read 3,500 words a minute and have a retention rate of 95%.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
And
I smoke way too much weed to be able to do that.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. Not with these bifocals.
Yeah.
Army birth controls is what they are.
It's funny. I have safety glasses at work that are bifocal. So I can read some of the fine print while I'm working on stuff, right? So.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't even know they made those.
In my quest for seeking knowledge, and I was thirsty for it big time, and so in between partying with my friends and playing music that we're going to talk about later, a lot of those believed in this same religion, different sects of it, I guess, is what you'd say, denominations, whatever. Mm-hmm. But so we were all pretty much getting along. Had a lot of party time friends, really did. But I wasn't finding any answers, to the truth in life and how I can make my life better. And I've always tried to make things better, with ethical standards, work, money, just any of that stuff. So at one point in time, I joined this cult, and it was one of these secret societies, except for they didn't want to be so secret. They wanted more people in there. They didn't want a lot of money or anything, but they taught me an awful lot, except, they claim to be atheist, except for they still have a few beliefs that they're hanging on to, like they're going to, at some 0 hour, once the whole world started realizing certain things, that it would be like like an event horizon, and everybody would become immortal or something. It's just kind of weird. Through cloning and all sort, things like that. Transferring your consciousness through, and it's like, okay, if you can't make a clone of me right now, I'm not worried about it. But all the other stuff, the business aspects and a lot of the behaviors and thoughts, it really made me think. But one of the main things was purging your mind of mysticism and see through the illusions to what is, even though they still had a little bit of a bicameral mentality. If anybody doesn't know what that is, check Julian Jaynes, Princeton University, something or other, the bicameral mind. It's a hypothesis, but most scientists do agree with it. That's where our social structures come from and how we hang on to the woo factor because of the way our brains work. They still believed in a little woo. I have some good friends in there, and they'll actually pay me. I went last year, the year before, I can't remember, to Indianapolis. They paid me all the gas money I needed and fed me for 2 days. put me up in a hotel room, and I was a speaker and I played harmonica, only 3 songs. And they did all that just so I can be there. Wow, that was kind of neat, you know.
That's pretty
So
cool.
yeah, so it pays to still have some friends here and there, but most of the people that was on the higher levels, like I was right up there, and talking like 33-degree Mason kind of level, and and I basically got out of it and said, okay, I've outgrown this now, and I'm just going to do my own thing, and I'm just going to create value the best I can, and try to help, change the world that way, and not through, your agenda. I got my own,
Yeah.
and a lot of other people followed suit, so they're doing pretty good. But yeah, for being deconverted, it's along the way. That's basically how it happened. I didn't just one day wake up and do it. I studied my ass off for decades, and I had a lot of lessons to learn, and I didn't really want to learn them. I just wanted to work hard and drink a lot and get along in life, and that was about it. And I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. So where if my mind went first, then the rest of life will follow in the direction that I want. So that's what I started doing. I started using my mind instead of just hard labor.
Oh, you froze up.
Um,
No, you're
Over
good.
there?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good. At least your little freezings are they're merely seconds long, so that's not a big. It's just
Yeah. Okay.
you got that distance from the library, I guess, that's doing that.
Yeah, they won't let me park up against the door, so I asked.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I'd run over the butterfly display, so it's a no-go.
Okay. No, that's not good. Then you'd have brain bug on your ass.
Yeah, yep.
Brian would be like,
I'd
"Hey,
like
man,
to.
quit killing the butterflies."
Yeah, I used to work with Michigan's leading entomologists
Oh, cool.
too, because one of my jobs that I had was I did pest control, and for landscaping companies. So I had to work with the entomologist, and I taught at the local college outlet in the area for stuff like that, fertilizer applications for turf, and I had a lot of different companies coming to me to learn these things.
Cool.
My boss was fine with it because they paid our company for me to do that. Just basically just paid my wages to go there and teach, and it was a lot of fun. I
Very
got
cool.
to meet a lot of guys, and it was wintertime, landscaping shut down, so that's the time everybody goes to classes, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And at one time I had, well, you got to be licensed in the state to do these things.
Right.
I had more categories and more, I guess, points or whatever on my license for landscaping and pest control than anybody else in the entire state.
Wow.
So everybody came to me, and I can't remember that stuff to save my life now. There's a bush right outside the window here that I can't remember what the hell it's called. I used to prune them all day long. I have no idea what it is now. It's something to pee on, I guess. But yeah, I was in the military for a while. Did that. It wasn't for me. I have a son.
Mhm.
I've been to, even though I tried to be a parent, they basically wouldn't let me, and they were totally biased against me. And they created a character, a straw man, about me that didn't exist, so I can be the bad guy.
Oh boy.
And
Well,
I've
who
even,
did this? Who
my
did that to
ex,
you?
the
Okay.
what now?
Your ex did that
Oh,
to you? Like her and her whole family, or?
yeah, yeah. Her mother run me over with the truck,
Oh,
tried to
Jesus.
kill me, and the judge said, "Well, if you woke up and all you saw was taillights, how the hell do you know that it was your mother-in-law?" And I said, "Your Honor, I recognize that laugh anywhere." You know. But yeah, I was living in a trailer and stuff like that when I was dating her, and we
you're frozen up again. Well, it looks like he's frozen.
Oh.
There he goes. Oh, here he goes. There he goes. There he goes.
I apologize for that, guys. It's just, this is the best that I can do for internet.
Yeah, that's all right. It's working. We're just having a couple little glitches here and there. So you're living. You got to the point where you said you're living in a trailer, and then you were going to explain. My guess is that the parents didn't think that highly of you, and et cetera, et cetera.
Well, no, it was her. Well, yeah, nobody did, because, you know, whatever they wanted to make up, and they were the bullies of the town too. I found out afterwards, and especially when they kicked my trailer door in and come in there with baseball bats and tried to beat the hell out of me, and I turned it around and got them.
Wow.
So all four of them went to the hospital.
Wow.
But
kudos to you for that
kind of thing. Yeah. Well, yeah. And then after, you know, but that was my whole life. Like I mentioned, you know, so I wasn't thinking too much about, you know, getting any help from any guy, because I haven't.
Ooh, it's getting rough. Just give him a few minutes there, guys. He'll come back. He's in his work van, I guess, or his van there out in front of the library, because it's the only decent, somewhat internet connection that he has. He used to do it at the hospital, but they wouldn't allow him to do that anymore. So he's got to do it this way. But yep, there he goes. There you go.
Yeah, while we had that time, the only thing I can do is watch that circle going around in the middle of the screen and yell, round and round, the damn internet will work now, give it time. I do that when I'm bored. I make up a song. But
yeah, I know that one by Rat.
Yep. Yeah, but yeah, so that's the kind of stuff I had to endure. And so I'd learned, you know, what is true, how can I protect myself, what's going on in life. So it's pretty much, it took a long time to deconvert. But after the society thing, it pretty much was in my 20s, after I was in the Army, that pretty much did it for me. You know, I'm not
right.
I'm not a believer. It just made more sense to me. If something's not there, why would I, you know, claim that there is?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, there's no evidence, and it doesn't matter if I feel really hard. It still isn't showing up and going, "Hi, I'm responsible for that."
Right.
You know, that's what's going to convince me, not another human being, but the thing claimed needs to show up and answer to me.
Yep.
Not the other way around.
Yep. And you know, you often get asked, you know, well, what would it take for you for God to convince you? I said, well, he should know that. He should know exactly what it would take.
Yeah.
But I always say, you know, if you really want me to believe that you're a deity, you're coming down, listen, that's me, I'm God. So, okay, really? Well, why don't you give me your powers for one day? And we'll see just how much I can do with those kinds of powers. Much better than you, because you're not stopping priests from raping children. You're not feeding 9 million fucking starving children. You're not stopping the wars in the Middle East. You're not helping anybody. You're just fucking off somewhere. Like what? Creating more universes? Like what the fuck, buddy? Like don't just poof us out here and then buzz off somewhere. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Even Jim Carrey did a better job.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great
And he's
scene
a
when he's got
fudge.
all answering all the prayers.
Yep.
Yeah.
His computer
Everyone
turns
won.
on.
Yeah, everyone won the lottery, and everyone won like what 14 cents or something.
The coffee guy shows up. Hi, Juan. He grabs a cup of coffee out the window, turns the computer on. Yahweh.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much how things went down. I still talk to family, but they still try to argue with me and um,
Yes,
seem
they
to think
will.
I deserve to get my comeuppance somehow. And it's like, you know what?
Your
Just leave
comeuppance.
me alone. You don't know and you can't demonstrate that you do.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
and some of them too. And everybody's heard this. I know, and I got this from a manager that I had as a public speaker. My family does the same thing she did, but I'll tell you what she did. She's like, well, she started the conversation. Well, I got to tell you something. Oh, I don't care what you think. I'm going to tell you anyways. I just know that I'll be waiting there in heaven and the afterlife, and just went off at a tangent. And I said, if you had to start off a conversation with "I don't give a shit," I'm going to disrespect you and tell you how wrong you are for no reason.
It's over.
You're the aggressor, and you're the one who's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You are fired.
Yeah, if you can't take a little criticism and a conversation, then
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it wasn't even. It was just, as soon as we met, in order to get business done that day, I was supposed to do a speech at a school, and I had to cancel it that day because she messed it up and she pulled that stuff on me. So it's like, no, you're fired. She wanted too much money and everything. So
IQ had a suggestion. If you start breaking up again, you really haven't. It hasn't been that bad. It's happened a few times, but yeah, the video does chew up a lot of bandwidth. But we'll keep rolling with it for now, anyways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just going audio only without video can sometimes help, and I've had people do that before on my show. I mean,
I never thought of that, but yeah,
Rhino did it, right? Vice Rhino, and he's got
Yep.
good bandwidth, but he hadn't face revealed yet, so yeah.
Yeah,
so
me being an entertainer, I got to get that ugly mug out there.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm trying to corner the market on ugly mugs here.
Too late.
So my dad, or it was my dad, he used to say it all. It was my dad or his brother, I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Yeah, you got a face for radio.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, bud. So you finally found your way out of a belief system, and your parents, your family in general, I guess, is still hounding you for all of this, I guess, eh?
Oh yeah. My sisters, I can't talk to either one. Well, I can now after I confronted them about the stuff, but for a while they were just, you go over and visit or whatever, and then they say, okay, I've done research and I proved it because I went on YouTube last night, and it's like,
the
so
world's greatest source, YouTube.
Yeah, listening to evangels, letting you know that there's something flawed with me, and that's why I don't believe in God, is because I was abused or whatever. It's like, no, it's just that the actual thing that happened was God wasn't there for me. So why would I believe in him?
He wasn't there for anyone. Don't worry.
At the end of the day, where is the biggest coward in the universe?
Yeah. He's still the universal champion at hide and go seek.
Yeah, exactly. And somehow I don't know why
Bigfoot goes, damn, he's good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, don't ever kiss one of those. They'll give you a cold sore. By the way. There's one at my local. There's one at my local farm market. Her name is Nadine. She sells duck eggs, but she's our local Bigfoot.
Is she?
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Stay away from tequila.
I'm not a big fan of tequila, but I'm like a beer and scotch guy. Occasionally vodka. I like there's a few. I like Grey Goose vodka, and I like, of course, the Crystal Skull vodka. Of course, they're two expensive ones that I have to like, but they're quite good.
Yeah, I'll only have like a couple of beers once in a while, and that's about as far as I'll go because I don't want to get back into the hard stuff. And that it's so far behind me. It's in the rear view mirror where I can't even see it anymore.
Way back in the rear view horizon.
Yep. Yeah. People have.
Yeah, exactly. Nerdy Rodent's got tequila broke me. Yeah, me too. With tequila, I would definitely wear that.
Remind
Oh, you're
that I
breaking up
used to.
on me.
Okay.
You're
Got me
good.
again?
You're good. Yeah, I got you again.
Okay. I didn't have time to hit the stop cam,
It's
but
okay. There you go. Tequila broke me a few times.
yeah, but I'm not a drinker anymore. I'll still go out and if there's any bars that I have to play at or something like that, I might have a beer or two. But then it's like Diet Coke or something like that afterwards. But I prefer to stay fairly sane and while I'm playing. So and it's about the music. It's not about the partying. To me, I'm 51 years old, and it's time for me to grow up. I've been all over the place, hoboed on trains, slept with so many women I can't even count anymore. And I'm not bragging. It's not something to be proud of. It's just something that a blues musician does.
Yeah.
And rock and rollers too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How many have we can count on how many have passed away because of drug or alcohol related things like that, right?
Oh yeah. John, yeah. A lot of friends.
Morrison. Yeah. Well, I'm talking like renowned
musicians. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. It can get really bad. And I understand why a lot of people turn to that sort of thing, because when you're in a whirlwind of running across a country or even the globe, putting on shows all the time, it ends up you don't even know where you are anymore, and you got to find ways to sort of come down, and people just end up doing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, then the record companies they used to buy all that stuff for the musicians. They keep them. From what I hear, they just keep them in debt. So they just had to satisfy them with all the drugs and stuff just to keep them working all the time. And they couldn't think straight. Here's your instrument. Go out on stage, do your thing, and then go back to the hotel. And that's pretty much it. And then they wake up the next day and do it all over again. And most musicians anywhere from the 50s right up until the 80s started. They were pretty much controlled by companies, record companies and stuff. But now people are getting their own labels and everything out there, and they're actually working together, and which is a lot different, a lot better. But now we got YouTube and stuff like that, and there's a lot of stars coming up on just from having YouTube videos and being at shows and the county fairs and stuff like that. There's a lot of good artists that are making it now where they necessarily wouldn't if they joined the pop scene, and the crappy music that they got these days. So there's still good rock and roll out there and good blues and stuff like that. It's just not on the mainstream. You just got to go find it.
My friend Jarton feels attacked. He's a guitar
Why is that?
He's a musician too.
Oh, okay.
Calm down, Jarton. It's okay. All right, buddy. But Raw 5069 was asking if you had played yet. I'm assuming people kind of want to hear you play.
It's up to you guys.
I'm fine with it. I'm all supportive of music and stuff like that. You know that.
Okay, maybe I'll just do
Let's see what we can do here.
This one's a simple one, and this used to be my alma mater like decades ago. But let's see if you could recognize this one. It's a popular song. Recognize it?
It sounds familiar.
Train.
Oh,
Train by
okay,
Black
sure.
Sabbath. It's
Right,
probably
right,
not coming
right.
through this correctly.
We could hear it pretty good. Now that you said what it was, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah.
it's just a typical train. People like a train sound a lot.
Yeah.
Coco,
I,
good.
I live beside a fucking train that goes every couple hours. One goes by, and
Oh
they're
boy.
long. Oh yeah, yeah. You get used
Oh
to it
yeah.
though.
You probably get those ones go coast to coast. So
Oh
they're
yeah,
about a mile
they
and a
usually have
half long, each one.
yeah. Oh well, yeah. They're probably probably about a mile. Anyways, but we had there's around here you'll see them with cars on there. There'll be all sorts of vehicles, grain silo type stuff, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
oh, there you go.
We have oil and steel and stuff like that around here.
Ross does a nice job.
I don't have a coffee cup.
No.
I have a song called the Coffee Cup Blues, but it's like a foxtrot kind of thing. It's really fast, but
Oh, okay.
that's okay. But for now, I kind of like to fill everybody in where I got started. It was when I was 5 years old, actually.
Wow.
My one uncle, my dad's one of his older brothers, came home from the military, and he decided to, he thought he was funny, play Milk the Mouse, and broke both of my pinkies. So I kicked him in the
What?
shin and called him a son of a bitch. And then he felt so bad about it, he gave me a big old lock blade knife and a harmonica. And after that, I started listening to old records and playing along with it and annoying the hell out of everyone. And that stuff went away. I don't know. I think they took it and tossed it in the trash or something eventually. But I fell in love with the instrument. It was something that I could actually play. And even back then, I was, mimicking the records and trying to sing old Johnny Cash stuff and, stuff like that. But, because country music is the official music of Christianity. So that's why we had the records in the house. Right up until the Satanic Panic came along, and Mom took all of those down to the church and burned them, said there's demons screaming out of them. And it's like, no, those are just plastic bubbles, right. Mom. So, but demons anyways,
Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
I remember those days, man.
Yep. Yeah, so I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music or anything growing up, but I started to when I was a teenager. But my friends were all playing guitars and around the campfire, and I just couldn't pick it up like they could, and they were getting annoyed with it. And it's like, you know what? I need to do something different anyways. I can't compete with everybody that plays guitar. They're just, they're too good, and I just don't understand it. It's just not getting in the noggin. So, I'm like, you know what? I think I'll pick up harmonica again. And I did, and it took right off. I was listening to the tapes and everything in the car or when nobody was around or whatever. Then I went out a couple times and got taught a few things by some players on stage. And a lot of my friends were in rock and roll bands. So around northern Michigan here, I met a lot of people that were in music. And, you share stories and you share information to help each other out. So I learned an awful lot. And then it wasn't until I went in the Army, and I went in the Army when I was 27. So I was a late bloomer. It was, I was competing with guys 10 years younger than me. Mm-hmm. And, but I went to an open mic night one night, and I started playing, and some old blues guys, this is in North Carolina, and it was on the Chitlin circuit. So where all the old blues players do their circling around the United States. Well,
sure.
They taught me how to do it right. And ever since then, I just got better and better. And I practice just about every day still.
That's good.
And as far as the stage fright, if anybody out there wants to do the music thing, don't worry about the stage fright. I'm going to tell you what an old blues guy told me. This guy must have been about 100 years old, black, leather face, just wear the funny hat and suit and the whole 9 yards. And I got up on the stage, And he says, yeah, you look a little bit nervous there, kid. And I'm like, yeah, a little bit. And he's like, well, here's what you do. He's like, you think of that nervous energy and you turn it into positive energy. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? He's like, just let it rip and don't care what anybody thinks. And I'm like, yeah, it's easy for you to say, you're way experienced. And he's like, no, seriously. He said, think of it as a bunch of dogs on leads. They're all nervous and they're shaking and they're pulling you every which way and you just don't know what to do. Well, the answer is just let them leads go and let them dogs run.
Mm-hmm.
And just
makes sense.
Let it fly. And I did after that. And I'm out of that, So, so it was probably the best advice I ever had, other than duck.
Yeah. Duck. That's good advice in particular situations.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
That was hilarious. Well, you got another one you can probably play for the folks there?
Sure.
And then we can. Are you okay doing an after party too?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I'm fine. I'd like that. Chapstick, not for ass kissing, for playing harmonica. Just so you know.
Yeah. I want to learn how to play harmonica.
I do teach a little bit. Let's see.
Glorious.
I just made that up. So
that don't matter. That was amazing. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Like, holy cow, John Popper, eat your heart out.
Yeah, we used to pick on him. His bass player wanted to beat my ass one day.
Really?
Well, yeah, I kept telling him he didn't have any soul. And we were really drunk. It was, I think it's like down in Georgia or something like that. He was doing a show. I don't remember much, but John doesn't like me.
No, he doesn't. Well, if you're telling him he's got no soul, can you blame the guy?
No. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I dig the Blues Travelers. I think I had their first album when they first came out, and that song Gina and there's a couple other ones on there. We used to play it at the record store all the time. I was like, holy shit, listen to these guys. This is some amazing shit, right?
Run Around has a popular one.
Yeah, Run Around. Yeah. But anyway, that's probably But Anyway is probably my favorite song that they've done. But But Anyway.
Yeah,
it is a good segue right there.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I played with a lot of Billy Branch, Charlie Musselwhite.
Oh yeah, wow.
Who else do I play with? The Blues Brothers down in Chicago.
Awesome.
I was on B.B. King's bus.
Nice.
He gave me 2 words of advice that I'll never forget, because I was drinking peach schnapps with his nephews.
Was he the one that said? Is he the one that gave you the duck advice, or?
No. But he said 2 things. He said, "Just keep on playing, kid. Just keep on playing." And then the other thing was, "Get off of my bus. I don't know who you are."
You'd say, "Oh, we've known each other for years. Come on, what's the matter with you? Gotta lose it there."
I just having fun. Shit, I was down on Fort Bragg, North Carolina, in a little town outside of it called Fayetteville. And I was playing in this little bar, Our Place, and it's just a little dive, and you couldn't fit 100 people in there if you had a shoehorn. And oh boy, I had a conga line going outside and everything because I had a remote at the time, a remote mic, and we were just going around in the parking lot. Well, across the parking lot, there's another big old country bar, and it had one of these big old horse track shaped dance floors and stuff, and it's just huge. Well, the country star Red Atkins was playing in there, and apparently before they started, they heard me playing. Well, my girlfriend was over there at that bar and dancing and doing her thing with all her girlfriends. They were into country and stuff. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, I don't care. And later on, I went over there to pick her up, and I saw the guys down the alley getting into their bus and stuff, and the bass player says, "Hey, come here." Like, what's going on? I say, "Hey, Harmonica Man, that sounded pretty damn good." Said, "You want to play a little bit acoustic and everything here on the bus with us and have a little bit of whiskey?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Fuck yeah.
So, and Rhett, he was singing some AC/DC stuff, and I was too. We're comparing AC/DC voices and shit. And next thing I know,
hold on. Bon Scott AC/DC or Brian Johnson AC/DC?
Bon Scott.
Right, the only AC/DC.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, so before I know it, I wake up in the lower part of Georgia, and I had to take a couple of buses and a cab back to Fort Bragg before the first sergeant got out there.
Worth it, though.
Yeah, it was. And I was the guide-on carrier too, so we went on about a 5-mile run, and here I am with the flag right behind the commander. And, and we got back, and he's like, "Man, you got to stop that drinking. I can smell you burning for 5 miles." Don't worry about it, sir. I got it under control.
It's a one-off.
Yeah. So I actually slowed down a little bit after that.
But they found you.
Yep, they did.
Stealing internet.
Yeah.
Let's get it, boys.
Yeah, they probably found that crackhead or something that's at the other end of town. Who knows? Well, there's only about 5,000 of us here, so.
Oh, okay.
Somebody's got to do something wrong.
Well, yeah, that's the second time I've heard siren go by.
Yeah, I got to find a better spot. But I live out in the woods, and I got a satellite dish. And even watching this show, I got to wait until all the buffering goes by, even on the replay. So if it's an hour long, I'm sitting there watching for 2 hours. I'm doing dishes or whatever in the background, and I'm just catching parts of stuff, and it's just really, really annoying. So, so even uploading my own videos, 8 minutes takes about 2.5 hours.
Holy shit, man. So that's painful.
Pain in the butt. Yep.
What would it take to get you a decent internet there?
Move. I would have to move.
Okay.
I might sell my house. The guy that owns a couple thousand acres behind me, he lives in a different state, and he said him and his wife want to buy my house just so they can have a cabin to go hunting and camping out every year anyways. And it's like, well, it is a pretty crappy place. I might just take him up on that offer. But,
yeah, I find somewhere closer to the city or something.
Yeah, I got good neighbors, and we help each other out from time to time. It's nice and peaceful when the traffic isn't going by. I'm still by a main road, but it gets quiet at night. You can hear coyotes, wolves, bears come by, all that crap start scratching at my house.
Bears coming by. Hey, you got any picnic baskets?
Picnic basket. Yep. Take a hike, boo boo.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'd like to get into especially now. I went for a walk because I'm trying to get my legs to keep working. So there's not really a whole lot of place to walk even out in the country because I got a whole lot of logging trucks and everything else going by, and I still got to get right off the road. and winter's coming, so I just won't have a place to walk. And with the cane and everything, I'd rather move into town and get, some nice sidewalks, and they got little
Sure.
trails and stuff running through, how they do
Yeah,
in every
makes
little
sense.
town. So I'd
Makes
like
sense.
to do that instead.
Maybe it's time to tell them, yeah, all right, I'll sell you the place, and then you can just get your own little place somewhere in
Yeah.
the city.
Yeah. Well, I would like to keep up on this channel of mine, and I'm starting to write
Dude, you've got some great stuff on there. The ones that you sent me, like through DMs and
secular
stuff like that.
songs.
Yeah, okay. What I was just saying is, you've got some really good stuff. You've sent me links to a couple of the stuff that you've done, and I've just loved it, all of it. So just so you know.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I got to turn my heat off now with my cane. There. I'm glad I got this thing. It's handy. All I need is one of them little grabbers.
I got one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how much it costs to ship. It's not a little one though. It's like huge, dude. It's like it's about a 4.5 foot, 5 foot long one. Because me being 6'5" needs even more reaching stuff.
You want to shingle the house, don't you?
Yeah, something like that. I could shingle the neighbor's house with that fucking thing. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, but I can do the stuff. I'm single and I want to be the entertainer. Oh, I was going to make an announcement too.
Okay.
For those of you who read my books, I'm dropping off being an author for a while, and I'm just going to concentrate on the music and trying to help the secular community that way the best I can, and for my channel, and to help other musicians. They can come on there too and tell their stories or be my guest.
There you go.
So
that'd be cool.
That's it.
And that's a nice little segue for me to kind of re-announce the announcements from the beginning, because there are people here now that weren't here before. So first of all, cool. Randy, thank you for joining me today, brother. It's such good fun chatting with you. And there's that harmonica stuff that you pulled off there, that's just brilliant right there. That's some seriously good harmonica talent I can see all right there. But thanks, man, for joining me today. Thanks everyone in the chat for hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, there are multiple ways you can help the show out. I've got links below for Patreon, PayPal. I do have an Amazon wish list, but I'm pretty sure the Quiet Gorilla cleaned that out and sent me everything like this and a couple other things. So, but there are still ways you can help out the show. All the money gets put right back into all my production stuff. Mikey. And by the way, we the Deviants there, is it Deviants? Deviants? I don't know, Deviants. We'll call it Deviants. There we go. He is also my producer. I've always been slacking lately. And it's funny because I keep saying, Mikey, we got to talk about a few things, and that we never get to do it. So one of these days we got to do it. But he'll be in the after party, I'm sure. So we'll figure something out. But anyways, thank you, David. Thank you. David says, great talk. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed everything. We will be doing an after party. There is a link below to the after party if you want to go and hang out, but you don't want to participate. If you do want to participate, you can get a hold of me through either Facebook or Twitter. Usually, preferably Twitter, because I don't really go on Facebook all that much. But if you're not on Twitter, you can reach me through Facebook. But thank you to all my patrons. Because of you guys, this show keeps going and keeps improving. Don't forget to check out all of Randy's links below. You can find his actual website there, which has the books he was referring to are there. So if you want to pick them up, and a lot of his music is also there, and also his YouTube channel and his Twitter handle are also down below, so you can follow him there too, and you can bug him, keep poking him, say, hey, play some harmonica. But anyways, don't forget to sub to the True North Talk, as Randolph and I will be having that going. Mikey, shut up. Randolph and I will be going soon, probably into the new year. We're still building the place, and you can check out all the progress of that on the True North Talk YouTube channel right now. And don't forget, guys, my schedule is changing coming up in December. I'll be doing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and because Wednesdays I will require for hosting the nonprofits with the ACA. And I'll be there. I'll be hosting or co-hosting, I guess, with a bunch of great people from the ACA community. So look forward to that. My first show will be taping this coming Wednesday, and it should be airing either this Sunday or the following Sunday. They got a bunch in the can already, so they might just drop a few as they've been recorded, sort of like in order sort of thing. So you may not stay there for a little bit because I couldn't get involved with it until now. So anyways, thanks everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And with the whole COVID-19 thing going on, remember to be well and be safe. And above all, be kind. And like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we will see you guys next time.